The International Baccalaureate is probably one of the first high school programs that really identified what we now call 21st century learning skills.
I think critical thinking skills are a big part of it. I think their approach to interdisciplinary study, where they see how their different courses blend into one another, those things are very important.
As an academic, I know that more than ever, they have to be prepared and be in a curriculum that is international, that's globally recognized and well respected and have that high standards, because once you move on to university, you're not just going to be competing with other Canadians now.
In the IB, you'll get to choose 6 different courses from 6 completely different areas of study.
There's such huge variety here for students to choose and to really build and tailor a program that suits them as an individual.
So for me, for example, I was really into the sciences and I decided to take higher level biology and higher level chemistry. And that actually allowed me to learn stuff that my brother was learning in first year university.
Student achievement is reported on a scale of 1 to 7, with 7 being excellent and then the gradations moving down from there.
They use what are called learning rubrics, where students know where they are in that rubric for their learning, and there's clear indicators about what they need to do next to get to the next level.
They wanted you to really understand what you were learning, which is probably the most important thing at university, because in university you can memorize the entire textbook, you're still not going to do well, because the questions are meant to show the professor that you not only can memorize what the author wrote in the book, but you also understand what he means and you can apply to different contexts.
Really instilled the notion that you didn't have to do just one thing, that you could combine approaches to different things and do something completely new. And I think that that's kind of what I find myself doing now. You don't have to follow a single track in a single field and end up doing a single career. You can really integrate approaches and paradigms from different fields, different subjects, but different arts, different sciences, even athletics, and kind of combine them into something that doesn't exist yet.
I've taught in 3 different curriculums before. I've taught the AP in the United States, and I've taught the United States curriculum. I've taught the Ontario curriculum, and I've taught the IB curriculum. And really in mathematics, the IB curriculum is the one I prefer. And the reason why I prefer it is that it does have a broader range of topics. And so even if a student, isn't particularly interested in calculus, they really might be interested in the financial math, or they really might be interested in some of the work we do with vectors. And they get exposure to all 3 things. They're not just siphoned into one narrow field.
The extended essay was a very interesting entity in itself. It has more of an influence on me as an individual than it did on, let's say, my IB score.
It never seemed like work. When I sat down to do it, I was learning new things. I always found it really interesting and the time would fly by.
The emphasis on a well-rounded education, things not just that are the areas of academics that immediately interest the boys, but all aspects of a sort of well-rounded education that expose to them all, and they're expected to do well in all of those pursuits.
It's really enriching. It's a pretty amazing experience to be able to do something you love and want to do for the rest of your life, and then one day and the next day you're doing something totally different and totally new and unfamiliar to you. It doesn't matter if it's in your comfort zone or not.
With an IB diploma, you have an accreditation that's recognized around the world, and you also come with a set of skills and approaches to learning that will set you up for success at institutions internationally.
Well, what we've done is we've looked at many years worth of data on how first-year students perform. We've looked at how IB students perform against students from a traditional high school diploma. And what we found is that IB students with an anticipated score of 29 or 30 points perform in first year at the same level as a straight A student from high school. So we've amended our admission policies to make sure that they reflect the knowledge that IB students perform at such a high level.
I can tell you as a University of Toronto professor that the kids who come out of the IB program, whether at UCC or elsewhere, are very well prepared for university. There's no doubt about that.
I'm really excited to go on to university and show them what I'm made of.